ALG really saved me. I put all of my success on joining this group. People constantly checking in saved me.
I made so many friends with people that I've never met, but I feel incredibly close to, and I consider them family.
It really is a family. It is a place where you can just be yourself and there is no judgment. There is no shame. You are so welcome there.
Nobody has to be in this alone. Everybody is either going through or has gone through the same thing at one point.
Let's do this.
Welcome back to the ALG podcast. If you're listening to this on the day of drop, then happy Friday to you. Really quick at the top of the show, I just want to remind you guys to 5-star rate and review the show. I love reading these 5-star rates and reviews, and I like hearing what you guys have to say about the podcast. So please keep those coming. And we are supposed to announce 3 winners.
Yeah, we'll do it on social media.
Yeah, we're going to announce those 3 winners on social media to announce who wins the Accountable Life Journal.
Woo!
Yeah. Like I said, I really do. I love reading those reviews, and the more reviews we get, the more I would like to post them. So please leave those honest reviews, 5-star rate us. Anyway, here we go. As always, I am John Arpino, otherwise known as JR's Journey, and I am joined alongside my partner in crime, David Roden, otherwise known as fit_D-Rock on Instagram, and together we are the Accountable Life Group. Guys, today we are talking about body dysmorphia.
This is a phenomenal conversation.
Yeah. So body dysmorphia. Let's just get down to the nitty-gritty of it really quick. Why don't we define body dysmorphia? Body dysmorphia, in my opinion, is, well, is it real? Yes, it's real. Do people suffer from it? Absolutely. But as me and David kind of, we briefly talked about what we were going to talk about on the show before we got on. I think, and David as well, there's different levels to body dysmorphia, right?
Just like everything.
Yeah, just like everything else, there's obviously extreme spectrums of body dysmorphia that people have that you should definitely seek help. And then, there's lower ends of body dysmorphia that we have, especially us in the weight loss community world that we suffer from, whether, you're still losing weight, you've lost an extreme amount of weight. Maybe you're stuck in one single place. But also now, David,
not to mention, I think what's important too is body dysmorphia crosses all obesity and health perspectives.
Right.
I've had friends go through the anorexic body dysmorphia where they have to get leaner and leaner and leaner and leaner, and they're almost basically looking sickly for the sake of 2% body fat and all this kind of stuff, all the way to the obesity side where you, even with the weight loss, you still see yourself as that fat 400-pound person, that 300-pound person, that 500-pound person, whatever, and you're still mentally stuck with that vision. So this goes across all spectrums here, people. Absolutely. This is, and I think it's really cool to kind of share that. It's been cool to see. I've seen it from both sides, because this is where I always talk about health and happiness has such a great balance to it, because doing a bodybuilding show, you get to see how unhealthy, both physically and mentally, some of these people are in the bodybuilding community. It like nitpicking, their biceps are not big enough, or they have a little bit of fat and love handles they just can't get off, and they're willing to do anything, including destroy their own physical health in order for this false reality of the perfect body.
Absolutely. So let's actually define what body dysmorphia is. Mm-hmm. So body dysmorphia, BDD, is defined as a mental illness involving obsessive focus on a perceived flaw in appearance. The flaw may be minor or imagined, but the person may spend hours a day trying to fix it. The person may try many cosmetic procedures or extreme exercise to try to get past the body dysmorphia.
Mhm.
And here's what I didn't know. And now I'm getting all this from the handy dandy Google machine.
Science.
More than 200,000 people across America
100%.
suffer by a doctor suffer from BDD. So BDD, body dysmorphia, is there a difference between being insecure and body dysmorphia?
Oh, 100%. And that's the whole thing is like body dysmorphia to me. And this is where it's so important. In one of the biggest things that I've kind of listening to Tony Robbins, listening to all this kind of stuff, not only just listening to other people, but utilizing it in my own life. And I think about how was I able to get over these different hurdles? And one of the pushbacks that I will say to body dysmorphia and just the idea of this in general is be careful defining yourself. And the reason why I say that is just like I've talked about in different podcasts, I've talked about it in my book I published, I talk about different things where it's like your beliefs are more important than you know. And
Absolutely.
your affirmations, your incantations, these things you say again and again and again and again and again create serious control and meaning over your life. And saying, think about it in the limelight of, you know what? I struggle with confidence because of my man boobs. Okay. And I have body dysmorphia. What sounds a little harder to get over?
Right. Body dysmorphia.
Exactly. You create this massive connection. Not saying it's not a serious issue and something you have to work on, but just be careful on this limelight. I think that helped me out immensely personally, where it's like, am I perfect? Far from it. I still have some stomachs. I still got some plenty. I got my scars. I got my all different types of stuff. And I just know from where I used to be obsessing over how obese I was with the fat and how it was going to work. And a great example, people, everyone knows, and it's no, you see a before picture. I had some salami nipples. Like they weren't even pepperonis.
No,
they were some Canadian bacon salami ass nipples.
Absolutely.
Now, with my excess skin removal surgery in my chest, did they get cut smaller? Yes. Are they still quite a bit bigger than the average nipple? Yes. And guess what? I've had Josh is laughing. And guess what?
Areola boy.
It's something I've had to learn to accept. And I take my shirt off and the scars on my chest and the nipples I have, I literally have no just like focus on it. I just don't give a shit anymore because I live my life. I've made that switch to I'm living my life for health and happiness. And the size of my nipples do not affect my health and my happiness. I won't allow it. So that's kind of like something that, yeah,
it's not the size of the nipple, David, you know,
it's the fight of the dog.
Right. Yeah. But no, seriously, body dysmorphia. See, it's so interesting to me because I will fully say that I did not know what body dysmorphia was until I got into the weight loss Instagram community.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank. Like it was not a word. It was not a part of my vocabulary. I didn't know what it was. And then you see this word getting tossed around left and right all over the place. And I've used it myself. Knowing what it is now, I know that I've suffered through it.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, it was just called being self-conscious. You know what I mean? Like it was just a little bit of an insecurity. But now, you know, we kind of give things fancy words now and definitions and whatnot, and everything's an issue. But and I'm not discrediting body dysmorphia because again, I've suffered through it. I suffer through it sometimes still to this day. I don't think that there's anyone out there that is 1,000% happy with their appearance 24/7, 365 days a year, front and back. It's not, you know what
Doesn't
I mean?
exist.
Like your favorite Instagram person, like your role model on Instagram or anywhere, they wake up in the morning and they still have a problem with the way that they look.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just being human. Like that's something that you also have to put in perspective here, guys. It's like, we all have this mental image of what we want to be, right? I would love to be, I'm 6'5". Thank God I have the height, but like I would love to have a 12-pack ab. Like, like I would love to have, 25-inch biceps, like I would love to have calves the big as a city block, but like it just doesn't happen.
Don't bring the calves into this, John.
You have tiny calves.
Don't bring the calves in. I'm just kidding.
But like seriously, like, and then we try to paint this picture of the perfect reality for ourselves, and then we can't get there. But we're not supposed to get there.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not all cookie cutter. Someone asked me today, do I still deal with body image issues? I will tell you that, I love my body. I'm accepting of my body, my self-image and all of that. But are there days where I wake up and I'm just like, you have a little bit of a role here, John, and I'm not in love with it today. Absolutely.
100%.
1,000%. But you can't let that continue to bury you in a hole mentally, because I've let that happen. Like I have totally let that happen. And I'm talking about me right now. Like John Arpino, who's talking to you right now, just got over a spat of having this like mental, not a breakdown, and a problem with body dysmorphia in the sense of, I took so much time off because of skin surgery, having excess skin surgery, having my chest done recently, and then before that having COVID. So to set up that timeline for you, I got COVID the week after New Year's Eve, right? So the first week of January I had COVID, boom, 2 weeks, 14 days, boom, COVID. The following 2 weeks after that, after I was cleared and good to go, I hopped on a flight and flew to LA and had my chest done, right? So now that brings us to the middle of February. And then I was off from the gym from the end of December till I wasn't cleared to go back to the gym till probably the middle of March. Now we're in June, right? So there was that whole span of time where I was not on my regular routine. I was not lifting because I physically couldn't lift because I had to, rest and recover and heal properly and yada, yada, yada. So what happens then? The mind goes, right? Like the mind just keeps running and running and running and running and running because you're not giving it any other distraction, because that's what life is, right? Life is just one big distraction for the most part. You wake up, you go to work, you're distracted for the next 8 hours. You go to the gym, you're distracted for 2 hours. Like you go do something with your friends, you're distracted for that amount of time. So I was taken away from my distraction, right? So within that time, I start playing head games with myself. Not that I thought that, oh, you're getting fat again. No, it wasn't that. My eating was on point. I was drinking my water. I was fully hydrated. I was still doing my thing. I was walking. But because I wasn't lifting and I wasn't, exercising and pushing myself to my limits, it started to creep up like, oh, you're not as strong as you used to be. Oh, you're not as fit as you were. Oh, you're starting to get ugly. Like, and what would happen was that was starting to bleed into my regular life. So then I noticed that I was irritable and miserable and anxious, and I didn't know why, right? And I had no idea why. I guess in the back of my head, I kind of knew what was going on, but like being off my routine and allowing these old feelings to kind of creep up again brought me back to a place that I hadn't been in a while. And I feel like that's natural. And I feel like when you go through this journey, I feel like you need to expect this to happen. It's not like, not to steal a line from David, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, all the time. You're going to hit a bump in the road. You're going to have a hiccup. Something is going to happen. You're going to have an injury. I'm sorry. It's going to happen. Or the excess weight, the excess skin removal. Like, guys, I am blessed. And I know David will say the same for himself. Blessed to be able to have skin surgery, right? We lived with that skin. We hated it. We were insecure about it. Maybe it was causing rashes or whatever the case may be. But when you go through that downtime, you start to notice stuff that isn't really even there. I mean, like, can you agree with me, David? Like, do you remember being in that recovery mode and just like not being where you were at and just kind of having way more time to self-reflect, and then that reflection becomes a downward spiral?
It's 100% momentum. And this goes into like the whole, you talk about physiology focused language and focus, like where habitually do you go? Like that's the whole thing. I think everyone occasionally looks at like, they see this flaw and say your tooth is not as straight as something else. You have a mole on the neck, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. The question is, how habitually do you go there? Right. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that comes down to, are you going to be perfect all the time on like, you know what? I love every little piece of me. No, but how often do you go, you know what? I love my shoulders. I love my smile's fantastic. My eyes are sweet. Mm-hmm. Like I got delts the size of billboards. This is cool. Right. And like, hey, do I want to work on my calves? Yes, I want to work on my calves. Is my self-worth and who I am as a person in my calves? No. Right. No. The body dysmorphia issue that comes into play is how habitually do you go there, and how is your self-worth in that? As in, do you think it inherently controls the value of who you are as an individual? I think that's one of the things that body positivity people have right, which is your self-worth isn't in being obese, isn't your body, all this kind of stuff. Now, what they have it twisted is acting like you can be healthy at every size. Right. And that's where it's like, I constantly go back to health and happiness have such a great balance to it. That's like my constant statement I say to people, because guess what? Going to as far as bodybuilding competitions, going as far down that rabbit hole as you can, that health and happiness starts to pendulum out, because everyone's on all these anabolics. Everyone is so they're willing to destroy their bodies, their livers, their kidneys, all this stuff for a. But
even like, let's not even say that every bodybuilder's on steroids.
No. But I'm saying people in that area can go there to the opposite spectrum of the other side, which is, well, I'm just happy with who I am. Well, that's fine and dandy. You can be happy at being obese all you want, but it ain't healthy either.
Well, I was coming from the front of like, okay, let's just say that every bodybuilder ever since the beginning of time has all been all natty, right? Mm-hmm. They're still putting themselves through almost an eating disorder for quite a bit of a while. You know what I mean? Like the whole leaning out, you know, the whole prep, you know, and that's going to start to fuck with them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like some of my really, really tight, very good friends, they're all bodybuilders. And I've literally watched my friend be the leanest he's ever been in his life and asked me, yo, my face, doesn't it just look fat as fuck? And
no,
like
100%.
His eyes are sunk into his head. He
sunk into his chest. Yeah, like literally. Yeah. No, I completely agree. And that's the whole point. Well, I was just using steroids as an example. But and the issue is you see so many people deal with the perfect picture. And this is something I've dealt with a little bit too, is you take a bodybuilding competition day picture and it's the most lean, like aesthetic picture you'll ever take in your life. And then, so it's here. And then everything else is sub that. So you're always like, well, I'm not as lean as I was in competition. And now you have this, again, self-worth issue, thinking that you have to be that 24/7, 365. Mm-hmm. Like, because like competition prep, you are dehydrating yourself. You're doing all types of stuff that is not healthy.
Absolutely.
Or happy, for that matter. And again, that's the whole thing, is like being able to live within this healthy means of one of the best ways to deal with body dysmorphia is constantly go back to health and happiness.
Yes.
Am I in a healthy place? Yes. And I need to be happy with who I am. Like that's like one of my big things I go down, because again, like I think one of the things that helped me out a lot when it comes to body image issues is like you constantly have to go back to give yourself, number one, perspective. I think it's important, and be honest with yourself and say, hey, my worth is not in the aesthetic look of my body. Like it's not like, am I confident because I treat my body with the respect it deserves? Yes, 100%. And that's why it's fun. And bodybuilding to me is an enjoyable process. I enjoy the workout routines. I enjoy the muscle fatigue and that whole process. Some people could say the same thing about long distance running. They love the idea of their physical exertion comes from long distance running. Sweet. I hate long distance running.
Oh yeah.
It's awful. Like
I hate short distance running.
It's like, Mike, I respect you so much for your long distance running. Not my thing. Not my
No, not at all. No, my hat's
you know what?
off to you.
There was a day and age where I was, after I did the bodybuilding competition, where I was like, hey, should I do an Ironman? Then I look at myself and I'm like, you know what? Could I fight myself through this process? Yes.
Right.
Is it going to physically hurt my body in the process?
Absolutely.
Probably. And so is it really worth it for me as an individual? No. Other people, they could do that process. It wouldn't hurt them physically. And it's a good way to push their limits. Sweet. But that's being honest with yourself. I think that's a great thing to do within body dysmorphia as well, is being honest with yourself and being really transparent, super transparent. Meaning honesty is always so interesting because people always take the honesty and they act like it's honest, but it's actually not being honest with yourself at all.
Absolutely.
You sit here and it's like, all right, honestly, could I lose 15 pounds? Yeah. In reality, I'm in a healthy position. There's nothing wrong with me right now.
Right.
But it's like, no, you're a fat piece of shit.
Yeah.
Is that really honestly where you're at? Let's be real here. Let's be honest here. There's nothing wrong with some real honesty. Honestly, I'm 15 pounds overweight, but I'm plenty healthy. I'm plenty happy. And let's live here.
Of course. And like just a reminder for those that are on a weight loss journey, or maybe you're somebody who is, done the weight loss journey and you've reached your goal, right? But now you're thinking to yourself, well, I still don't look good enough. You can't chase the dragon here. You know what I mean? Because that's when problems arise. That's when you create unhealthy habits. That's when you start, living in that negative mindset that you just fought so hard to get out of, because the negative mindset you have when you're obese, and you keep dreaming of this magical dream body of yours, that same dragon's going to pop up when you finally lost 200, 250 pounds, even 150 pounds, something like that. And you look in the mirror and you're like, well, I hit my goal, but I still don't have those abs. My back is not ripped. You can't harp on all the little things.
And that's the habits. That's what we talked about. Like, yeah. That's where you get into the habits of everything. It's like, where do you habitually go?
Right.
And
so where is the line for you? And that's something that you have to figure out too. You have to figure out where the line is for you, and you have to figure out, okay, well, how am I going to get out of this? Because you will feel the spiral. You will feel the mental slip up. You will notice it in your character, because it's happened to me. I listen, when I'm on some shit, I'm the first person to call me out on my shit when my shit's done. You know what I mean?
And being honest with yourself.
Yeah. Maybe not during my shit, but like afterward, I'll turn around and be like, hey, I've been a dick for like the last 3 months. My bad. Like, I had a little bit of a menstrual cycle there, like
just a little
bit. So how do we take ourselves out of that place? Now, I know David kind of touched on that a little while ago, but again, it's all about that self-talk, and we talk about that a lot on this podcast, but how you speak to yourself is what the universe is going to bring you every single time. I truly, truly, truly believe that, because I've watched it happen in my life. I wouldn't tell you guys something that I didn't believe in. I wouldn't try to like write you a magical tale that is not going to come true. The more you talk into existence, oh, I'm looking fat again. I'm looking fat again. I'm looking fat again. I'm looking fat. Boom. All of a sudden, holy shit. Well, it happened. Why did it happen? Because you mentally allowed yourself to go there, which mentally allowed you to break all the good habits that you had. And then all of a sudden, all those bad habits that you worked so hard to get rid of, they crept back in, because you're sitting there at night and you're like, well, I kind of already think that I'm fat anyway. So let me go eat this bag of popcorn. You know what I mean? Or let me go have that bag of chips, because I feel this way already. I already told myself this is how it is. And then what's going on? You're creating that future for you. So the affirmations again. Affirmations are beautiful things, guys. look into that mirror and name 3 things you love about yourself. Just do it
every single day.
whether
habits.
you are mentally whether you mentally feel that you are in love with your body or whatever, you can find 3 things that you love about yourself, and you just have to constantly remind yourself, number one, where you came from. So, where you started, where you are right now, and how you truly feel about you. The universe is always listening. I say that a lot, but the universe is listening, and the universe is going to put in front of you exactly what you ask for. So be careful what you ask for. That's the other, and that's the flip side of the coin.
Because I go into the whole science, guys. It's called the reticular activating system, RAS for short. It's a part of your brain where whatever you continually focus on, your body's going to search out. Isn't it fascinating where it's like, you know what? I love red Corvettes. I love red Corvettes. And guess what? Next day, all you see is red Corvettes. It's just all I swear I never saw red Corvettes before, but now I'm seeing them everywhere. And the same thing goes with flaws. The same thing goes with everything else. Where's my flaw? Where's my flaw? Where's my flaw? Your brain is not your friend. Your brain is just a big old computer that does what you ask of it.
Right.
And so if you habitually go, where's my flaw? Your brain's just going to go, well, David, you got salami nipples.
Exactly.
And then it's going to go,
and tiny calves.
He's such an asshole. Guys, can you please comment that John's an asshole? Please and thank you. Please and thank you.
Your chest looks really good though right now. Like no. That angle. If you just stay at that angle there you go.
There it is. Yeah. No, but flip of the coin. And then going into the comparison game, this is a whole different tangent, but I think it's so important because I've had recently multiple people reach out to me through the ALG community just talking about like, I wish I looked like you. I wish I looked like you. And wow, I'm just saying. And isn't it funny that
I'm going to drag on you in 2 seconds.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing of like, gosh, I wish I looked like Steve, or I wish I looked like, and being able to go, David, you're your own place. I fucking, you gotta, and then I start to pivot and go, you know what? You like, look what you've done so far. This is so amazing. And like, it does creep. Like, that's what I'm saying is you got to squash the demon young. Or in John's case, the dragon. Yep. It's like, don't let the dragon become level 8 dragon that eats your face off. And now you're in this huge just spiral.
I'm sorry. Like, I didn't want you to think that I was ignoring you this whole time. I just wanted to truly show you what it is that you look like. You're Little Debbie. Like, for those that don't know. So I really want to know who's been messing with you on the ALG chat and saying, I want to look like Little Debbie.
That's so ridiculous. Did you have that picture like saved?
No, I Googled it just now. I wasn't ignoring you.
Are you?
But I just needed to show everybody. Little
What the fuck? Little Debbie? That's
I've been holding this card for so long.
That's what you think of me, Little Debbie. That's fucked up.
I love
That's
you.
Fucked up.
You make really good oatmeal cookies.
You make really good oatmeal cookies. You know what, David? You got monster shoulders. You got solid chest. You know what? You got some pretty good quads. I'm not gonna lie. Love your eyes. Got a good smile. I love my hair. I'm not gonna lie. I love my freaking hair.
You do have nice hair.
I do have some. I like that flow, even with the man bun.
Yeah.
But again, that's the point. But could I also sit there and go, you know what, David, you still got a little flab around here? Yes. You know what? You got a little excess back fat. Yes. You got some of that. This is the whole thing. This is what happens is you allow what could be just a 1 or 2 level dragon. And if you let that thing just fester and fester and fester and compound, then it turns into a big old savage, like the Walking Dead, or not Walking, the ice dragon from and then
Game of
Thrones. And now you're just like, you can't even kill it anymore because you allowed it to get there. Mm-hmm. And then it's a game to get out of it. And so that goes back to habits and just getting in the habit of seeing the value and confident, like where do you like yourself? and getting in that consistency.
And also, talking about it. Because we always, as humans, have this like thing where we're going through something and we're struggling, but we refuse to tell people about it. And the more that you let that fester and the more you do not express it, the more it's going to fucking build up, and it's going to build up, and it's going to become a problem. And that's what we don't want. We don't want a problem, right? Like we want to, as soon as we sense a problem, we should nip it in the bud automatically, get rid of it, because
kill the baby dragon, get it out.
Exactly. Because it's just going to snowball. And that's what works best for me. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, every time I have a problem in my life, I automatically go and I tell somebody. No, I'm just a human just like you. I let that shit fester for a little while. I let it marinate like a good steak in the fridge before I put it on the grill. But then when I finally own up to my shit and I realize, hey, buddy, you got a problem. As soon as I start talking about it, it becomes easier. It becomes better. And I'm talking firsthand right now, guys. Like I just said, I just got out of this mental like lockdown that I was in. Yeah, that I was in my mind. Like I didn't know who I was. I'm being honest with you guys. Like since like February, I really have no idea who I have been.
And it's so funny because I sensed it.
Yeah, like I had
our communication and stuff.
Yeah,
has been lighter. So like I knew you were going through something.
Yeah. And yesterday I really like broke out of it, right? Like I really kind of like broke that mental wall finally. And then I really had to go in my phone and start texting people and being like, hey, I appreciate you. I love you. That's why, I texted you. I was like, hey, I appreciate you. I love you. I just need to remind you that, because Wait,
did I get a generic text or was it heartfelt? Like,
it was heartfelt. No, it was heartfelt.
Was it a copy and paste, John?
There are copies and pastes. Yes. Some people got a copy and paste because there's only so way you could fucking tell somebody I love you and I appreciate you. But David, I love you and I appreciate you.
Mine's, I think I got a copy and paste.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You did. You did. You gotta
be honest with yourself, John.
Yeah, you did. I'll text you a real one later. And I'll show you what a real nipple looks like.
I love you, calves.
But yeah, guys, like that's what makes it easier. And you have to be honest. Like self-honesty is like so big, and we group it on in there with self-love. And
but the whole thing, I was just gonna say, I do want to, being truthful to yourself, honest with yourself, but truly being truthful and honest, because what do a lot of people do I just want to, everything's yin and yang. This brutal honesty is important, but make sure it's not perceived beautiful, like a brutal honesty, which is like, you know what, David, you actually are just a fat piece of shit. And some people will say like, no, I'm just being honest with myself. No, you're fucking not. Like, stop it. Would you say that to John? No, I wouldn't say that, John. So is that really being honest? Like, no, you're just being a bully to yourself.
And I also just want to say this. Don't feel like, if you've never experienced body dysmorphia, right? And that thought has never creeped up on you. Don't think because you're on this journey that you have to experience.
You have to have it. No.
Because that's a problem too.
Yeah.
Like just because, you see 10, 15 people on Instagram talking about it doesn't mean all of a sudden, well, if I didn't have body dysmorphia, I must be doing something wrong. Like
I'm glad you said that, because that's always a fun one too. It's like, some people didn't emotionally eat. Like some people don't actually emotionally eat to get themselves to an obese state.
Right.
So don't act like food has to be a vice for you.
Right. Exactly. And there's people out there, and actually Obese to Beast, John, he's a perfect example of this because he posts this a lot too. He's one of the handful of people that I know that will always say that he was not a miserable obese person. Like he openly says that. For me, it was different. And I'm sure for David, it was different, but like, you don't have to, this isn't a trend. Like body dysmorphia is not a trend. Like it's not like making a reel or making a TikTok and doing some stupid dance challenge. Like don't just create that for yourself just to say that you have it, because then you're creating a problem.
Trying to be significant. If everyone else is doing it, I want to be like everybody else.
Right. Exactly. So I think that this was a really great conversation.
Fantastic conversation.
I feel better. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. No.
Comment below if you think that John's an asshole for calling me Little Debbie.
Absolutely not. And if you don't think I'm an asshole, then just constantly send pictures of Little Debbie to David.
Oh, that's fucked up. You know there's people in the ALG community that are going to send me Little Debbie and fucking DM. That's so bad.
It's okay.
All right, I gotta figure out what to do
I look
for
like
you.
Bobby Jr. from fucking Sopranos. I have it. I have it. I will show you off air or next week on the show. I will show you the picture where I look identical to Bobby Jr. from Sopranos and AJ in Sopranos as a kid.
See, but okay? I want to do something. I want to do something that's like if it involves Sopranos, you're like, yeah. I need to find something that's gonna be
act like you don't like cookies.
You don't like cookies.
I know for a fact you like cookies. I bet you got a pack of cosmic brownies right in that kitchen right there.
Cosmic brownie. What are cosmic brownies?
Oh, they're made by Little Debbie. Do you guys not have Little Debbie on that side of the country?
We do, but I'll be honest, that's not where I go. I go fresh bakery, boy.
Oh, okay.
Like if I'm gonna eat a cookie, I want it to be a friggin' cookie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Little Debbie, all these like generic cookies and like generic pastries. It's like fuck that. I'd rather pay $3, bougie ass, and get something that's delicious than like $1 something that kind of is like.
So wait, you go to a bakery? I don't know how that side of the country works. Like if we want something, we go to a bakery.
You can go to a bakery here. Yeah.
Okay. They have that?
Yeah. Like every grocery store is a bakery too. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, we have full on bakeries too, but like most bakeries around here don't do cookies. They're doing more pies. They're doing more donuts. Okay. Pies and donuts are like the big two when it comes to bakeries. Bakeries don't do a lot of cookies.
Okay.
I would say.
See, I guess there's like more of a selection of that on this side of the country. Again, to East Coast, side of the very big Italian. Well, no, because I know I'm not walking into a bakery 400 miles apart. Listen, but I know I'm not walking into a bakery in Michigan and getting pinoli cookies and rainbow cookies and fucking rum balls and exactly, or fucking cannolis or fucking tiramisu.
Yeah, you're getting tiramisu.
Okay, but is it made by an Italian guy?
I knew you were gonna make some smart ass Italian comment. Is it real? Is it real tiramisu?
I hate you. I just don't like the way your eyebrows go up when you do that. Yeah, whatever that is.
All right, fam. This is a great conversation.
All right, guys. Yeah, obviously.
We take such a serious topic. We have serious moments and we start laughing throughout the whole
yeah, because Little Debbie.
That's how we live.
All right, guys, if you could 5-star rate review this, because I personally feel like this was one of the greatest episodes that we've had in a while. So actually, please 5-star and rate the shit out of this fucking thing. I appreciate you guys.
Okay, Soprano.
All right.
Empty threats.
I appreciate you guys listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, if you took something from it, please share it with somebody who you think would do the same. As always, you can join us each and every single Wednesday night for the ALG community call, going on to accountable-lifegroup.com, going to the event page, and that call is absolutely free each and every Wednesday night. You can find the Accountable Life Journal on Amazon.com and ALG coaching.
Yay.
Sign up. We have 1-on-1, 2-on-1. You get both of us. That's all I'm saying. You get both of us, and you can do it by yourself or you can do it with a group. Hit us up. We have spots open and we would love to work with you and help you get to your full potential.
And shout out to Doug.
Yeah.
Doug's one of our first. Doug, I'm so fucking proud of you.
Doug, I'm very proud of you.
He just actually, the first time today, he just stepped in the gym and it was terrifying for him and he was there. And I'm proud of you, Doug.
We're going to have Doug on the podcast soon.
Oh, yeah.
So, absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you. As always, stay beautiful, stay sexy, stay accountable.
Toodles.